Happy Mario Day, everyone. It's always great to have a Mario Day every year, and I have a tradition of playing the first level of every Mario game. Another cool thing that happened not on Mario Day but the day before is we got the new trailer for the Mario movie coming out in April, which I might just review, and the fourth wave of the Mario Kart Deluxe DLC. Now, Wave 1 was pretty good. It definitely had its problems, like some visuals and some tracks just being okay. Wave 2 was a pretty big improvement, and there were definitely some awesome tracks in there. And it was great to see a new one, Sky High Sunday. Wave 3 was really awesome and it improved upon the already great Wave 2. But Wave 4 is absolutely fantastic, and it somehow manages to beat out Wave 3, which is already pretty awesome. Anyways, I'm going to be ranking all the tracks in this cup. Sorry I'm a little late on the ranking. Anyways, though, I have to say there isn't a bad one here. I really can't say negative about anything significant about most of them. Anyways, number 8 we have DS Mario Circuit. Now, the DS had a handful of great tracks. Mario Circuit wasn't particularly one of them. It wasn't bad, just generic. There was some cool things. There was a shortcut by some piranha plants to spit fire. The music, I have to admit, was pretty cool, and there was Peach's Castle. Other than that, no, not much else to say. But in the deluxe version, there are definitely some pretty big improvements. They still kept the pipe tunnel, which is pretty cool. I like the animations for the piranha plant spitting the fire. And there's now a 4 section, which definitely spices up the visuals. And on the final lap, there's even a wiggler there, which is pretty cool. Plus, I have to say, the track handles really well in 8 Deluxe, and it brings me right back to the DS version, only now it's better. So it's a pretty great track, and the remix is great too. This is my least favorite track, but that's not to say it's bad at all. It's a great track. 7. Tour Amsterdam Drift. So the tour tracks have just been getting better and better, and at this point they are definitely on par with some of the best, maybe in the whole series, these versions, which is crazy to think. Anyways though, Amsterdam Drift, although my least favorite of the wave, is still really awesome here. You get to drive through Amsterdam, which I believe is in the Netherlands. You get to go underwater in the whole sewer system, I believe, and there's a bunch of different air sections that can make you fly out of the water into boats, which is really cool. There's a hillside with windmills that you get to fly over a train, which is awesome, and there's even some flowers. It's some really nice visuals, and it feels like you're in the Dutch countryside, which is really cool. The music is also really great. And also, being a tour track in Mario Kart Deluxe, there are also track segments where you get to go backwards, which is awesome to see. So yeah, pretty awesome track. 6. GBA Riverside Park. The GBA tracks, maybe with the exception of Sky Garden, are all amazing, especially in all their improvements. Sky Garden wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't perfect. Anyways though, this track, as well as Snowland and Boot Lake, are awesome improvements. Now, I have a soft spot for Mario Kart Super Circuit. I thought the tracks were actually pretty cool in that game, but these are, of course, improvements. Here, it just has such a nice sense of scenery. It's like DK Jungle, but I think the visuals stand out even more here. We have these kind of trees you'd see in a bio, or a bayou. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. We also have the Patuis, which is their first time in Mario Kart, and this time they're spitting up items in the air. I gotta say, that's a pretty creative use for them in Mario Kart. Anyways, though, near the end of the track, they replaced a turn with a huge rocky cave, and there's even a waterfall you can jump in at the end, which is really cool. And the remix is super jazzy now, which is awesome. The Super Circuit tracks got an awesome remake, and I gotta say, that's pretty cool. Next up is number 5, Tour Bangkok Rush. So this is a really cool track, and one I haven't played in the original. At least I don't remember, so. Anyways, though, in this one, the remix is, of course, awesome. And here, you get to drive through Bangkok, and you get to drive through a busy street market. You could bounce on top of the tents. And on the first lap, you get to drive down a riverside and trick off some boats. There's even some cool statues. You could even go in a huge parking lot. There's a huge castle or tower you get to glide by. And about near the end of the track, there's also different segments that you can go to with the stairs, where you get to go up on the subway system, which is really cool to see. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome track, and I gotta say, there's a lot to love about it. Number 4 is Tour Singapore Speedway. So, like I said, the Tour remakes are awesome, but this is easily my favorite, probably so far of all the tracks. There is so much to say here. So at the start, it's a little simple, but then you get to go on gliders, and you go back past these cool lion statues and go on waterfalls. You get to go above a building that you later return to drive on again. There's a really cool glider section above what I believe is a football field, and you get to drive by a blimp. You go on top of a building with a waterfall with Goombas and rafts like in Mario 3D World. The remix is, of course, awesome, which is to be expected. You get to drive through a golden town marketplace, and there's a really cool section I love where you drive in the bowl kind of building. I don't know what kind of building it is exactly. I believe in something in Singapore. Anyways, though, it's such an awesome track, and although I haven't really played the original, I have to say it's amazing. And I think my favorite part of the track is when you're going on the different conveyor belts, and there's these huge, colorful towers. I gotta say, if this is what Singapore is like in real life, it's magical. Number 3 is Wii DK Summit. So the Wii tracks have also been getting better and better in the remakes, and this one is, of course, amazing in the original. They brought back the remix, which is really cool and electric, which definitely fits. If I have anything to complain about, I guess I would say it lost its fog, the track, but that's just nitpicking. Anyways, though, they still get that awesome shortcut. The half pipes are back since Wave 3 in tracks like Maple Tree Way and Merry Mountain, which is awesome to see. And of course, this track just needs those things. Anyways, though, they had that, I think I just said this, but they kept that huge gap jump, the famous one in DK Summit, which is awesome to see, and you can still do it. And, well, what do I say? It's DK Summit. It's a fun, snowy ride down a mountain. Maybe it's not Mount Wario, but it's pretty awesome. Before we continue any further, I just want to say, the fact that we got Birdo in is a pretty awesome surprise. And since we're getting 5 new characters, it makes me wonder who they're going to be. Personally, I think we're going to be getting Diddy Kong, King Babam, Pauline, Funky Kong, and maybe Kamek. So, we'll just have to see. But that's pretty cool that they did that. Anyways, though, at number 2, we have Yoshi's Island. So, I'm noticing there's a trend where on the second of each wave, or every other wave, we get a new track at the end. So, I'm pretty sure Wave 6 is going to have a new course. That's just my prediction now. Anyways, though, this is an amazing track. Now, I played a little bit the original Yoshi's Island, but I'm a lot more familiar with Woolly World, which is an awesome game in its own right. I should probably make a video on that. Anyways, so Yoshi's Island is a really faithful remake here. We get a really cool remix of the athletic theme. There's a cool flower ring you get to jump in at the end, like at the end of the Yoshi's Island games levels. There are a bunch of chomps on this big hill background, and there's a bunch of chickens too. You go in some underwater ruins, you go in a cavern, you have those big things with the teeth that rise out of the ground. And there's even a piranha plant hanging down, like they do in the games. But the best part of the track is when you glide up above a volcano, and you go on a windmill town in the sky, and you glide back down, and I gotta say, when I first saw this, I was in absolute just shock at how smart it was. You can literally hit one of those cloud question block thingies, like you see in the Yoshi's Island games, and it forms a path. Now, this is pretty familiar to me since in Woolly World you could do this. And I gotta say, man, what an amazing concept. And for all the Yoshi's Islands fans, I gotta say, man, what a treat this track is. And even if you're not one, I guess you could say I am or aren't one, or not one, it's still an amazing track. But number 1 has gotta be GCM Waluigi Stadium. As much as I love Yoshi's Island, I just gotta say, I love Waluigi Stadium too much. So so in the original track, or I didn't really play the Double Dash version that much, but it was already a pretty awesome track. It was a stadium track, and people said that Mario Coliseum is better. Now, I have to say, I disagree with that. I think Waluigi Stadium is more interesting visually and has just better parts of the track and has a better layout and overall. Anyway, so the Wii remake was even better, the track. And those huge mechanical piranha plants are pretty awesome as well. But anyways, though, in the Wii version, you get the trick and they add half pipes. But now in 8 Deluxe, the track just looks amazing, I have to say. And the remix is amazing because the original song is amazing and the Wii version was amazing. Anyways, though, not only do we get half-pipes, but the mechanical piranha plants are now facing upwards, which makes them more interesting, honestly. But the best part of the track is the fact that in 2.5 pipe sections, you can trick up and you can land on these separate paths in anti-gravity, which is just super cool and just so smart, and even add a glider at the end as a little reward for doing so. So what can I say? I love Waluigi Stadium. And really, I have to say, at first, I thought that the waves were pretty cool, but now I have to say they truly are on par with some of the best of the entire series, and it does include the best of 8 Deluxe. So I have to say, this wave is amazing, and I'm just wondering how Wave 5 and 6 can beat it. Thank you for watching the video, and have a good night. Oh, and also, Happy Mario Day, again.